upon their arrival was almost unspeakable.
We are all evil in some form or another. I'm not guilty.
The dead won't bother you. It's the living you gotta worry about.
If I couldn't keep them there with me whole, at least I felt that I could keep their skeletons.
Hello and welcome to the Bad Taste Crime Podcast. I'm Rachel.
I'm Vicky.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
How we all doing today?
Hopefully okay. Hopefully not in a pit of despair.
Well, you know. I let out a large sigh before.
You did. It was from the soul.
Recording.
I was like, "Oh my god, girl,
I'm
you
just
okay?"
very tired.
She needs a nap.
I am. We are in nap territory.
It's dangerously
I gotta tell
close
you.
to siesta o'clock.
It is. It really is. But first, we got to talk about like some crimey things.
Yeah, some like murder and death and such.
Yeah.
Oh. You just gotta stay awake for a little bit longer.
But before
And it's a
that,
big but.
well, if this is your first time listening, a special hello to you.
Special hello.
But first, we're gonna head over to the newsroom.
Let's go there.
Fit to breathe, our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad.
Okay, this week, our news. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
It's a doozy.
Oh shit.
Okay, so this is from Louisiana,
Okay.
where 35-year-old Rutledge Diaz was charged with. Okay, so he got arrested.
Okay.
He got arrested for the third time.
Ooh.
Because
Come on, Rutledge.
I'm trying to find where the actual charge is. But basically,
Crazy
he
guy.
posed as somebody who was looking for a nanny to assist with the care of a person with special needs.
Oh.
And after making contact with the person online, he invited them to his house.
I did hear this
and
story.
he basically posed as somebody
Yeah.
who has special needs that needed diaper changings.
Right.
So there's that.
Yeah.
He was arrested in both 2019 and 2021
because
for
he in fact does not have special needs. and was
basically
just
the
like,
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Change my dipes.
So in 2019, he was arrested and booked with 10 counts of sexual battery and human trafficking and 1 count possession
God.
of drugs. That was the same sort of thing where he posed
Yeah.
as somebody who needed a caretaker for someone with special needs and
Uh-huh.
then posed as that special needs person when the caretaker came over.
Right. It
In
was
20
like, what a coincidence.
in
I need to be
2021,
changed.
they had arrested him for posting as a younger man with special needs and hiring babysitters who he would pay to change his diaper and treat him like a child.
Oh.
In December of 2020, Diaz pleaded guilty to the charge related to this investigation was placed on probation. And so then they start the second investigation and there's like text messages and all this other shit. Anyway, that's a thing.
Dude, like it.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before. You can do whatever you want as long as you're a consenting adult. With
Right,
other
you can't
consenting
trick
adults,
people
you can't
into
trick
changing your
people.
diaper.
I swear to God, there's a community online for you. And you can be like, pretend to be whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Unless the only thing is, I'm like, unless he has a fetish about people not knowing. You know what I mean?
Well,
Unless that's part of it, but that's like
I don't think so.
a different. I feel like that's a different.
I think
situation.
he has a fetish for being gross and weird.
Yeah, that's not great. I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum, but like you said, there's a place for you
Yeah.
online.
That's the thing. It's like you could find somebody.
Yeah. You
You're
really
not
could.
the
You really could.
This is a good rule of being alive. You are not the weirdest person
Yeah, it's true.
on earth. There are
It's
people weirder than you, and that's beautiful.
Yes.
Takes all kinds.
Yeah. We are going to move on to Netflix and Kill, which
Yeah.
this week is an HBO Max and Kill.
Max.
We are talking about season 2 of one of my emerging favorite shows, The Curious Case of.
Oh yeah.
That show is back, baby.
Ooh.
Originally started as The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, did that for 2 seasons.
Good
Very
rhyming.
interesting.
Yep.
Branched off in The Curious Case of series that now looks at different
Right. Yeah, they've done like a
cases
couple.
each episode. So they did a season 1, a full season 1, where they talked about Bam Margera was the big one.
Yes.
They talked about.
He's doing much better now.
He is, yeah. They talked about a bunch of stuff. Season 2 just started.
Ooh.
Oh boy. So the first one has to do with this guy who what is his name? Dr. Robert O. Young, who was successful after this book where he talks about, it's called The pH Miracle.
Okay.
And it has to do with having an alkaline diet and like all this other stuff. And he's saying he can like cure cancer and like holistically, right? And anyway, he's in jail for something
Grifter.
now. So there's that. There's also the second episode had to do with this Russian woman who stole the identity of
Oh, yeah.
another like beautician.
Yes.
Tried to kill her, tried to poison her, went on to poison this other guy. Turns out she was wanted for murder in Russia.
Yeah,
Like
she be murdering.
crazy. There is the one that's currently on, it's I think a 2-parter, but it has to do with, what is her name? Dawn DeLuise.
Yeah.
Who was like in this rivalry with this other beautician who had a store next door to hers.
Yeah, something
It's a
like that.
very strange story. That's a 2-parter. There's also the ones that have not aired yet. Apparently something about a teacher who hypnotized his students.
Oh.
A woman who committed several crimes while pretending to have cancer. A town impacted with several Tourette's syndrome diagnoses. And a woman who took care of her late husband and sister's corpses.
Oh.
Very excited about
Oh my
what is to come.
God.
I love this shit.
Yes.
This is actually, I believe, an ID Discovery
Yeah, I think so
property,
too.
but it's on Max.
Right. I love ID.
They, in my opinion, do a really good job.
I agree.
It is a little bit of that standard, like, I don't know, there's just a way they put these together
Yeah.
that's like a little bit more like boom, 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 boom,
Sensational.
boom. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and that you have to do that to make it interesting television. There are so many
Right,
good
right.
cases that it's like you need a little bit of production value.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree.
So, but the stories that they cover are just kind of
Fascinating.
fucking bonkers.
Yes. I'm like, where do
So-
they find all these?
I don't even know, but I would highly
Yes.
suggest it because I think they do a very, very good job. If you haven't seen season 1, definitely check it out. If you haven't seen The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, also check that out.
What are you doing
'cause
with your
just
life?
Crazy story.
Yes.
But they are all available on HBO Max. This is that part of the show where we say content may not be appropriate for all listeners.
May not.
Mine is actually not terrible.
Mine's not
Mine's
either.
not too terrible. But what are we talking about today, Rachel?
So my title for this one was Where They At Though?
Where They At Though?
Where They At Though? Because we are doing mysterious disappearances. People who, like, where are they? We don't know.
Yeah.
Like, where are they at?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's fair. This is always one of those unfortunately,
Yeah.
there is a wealth of cases to choose from.
Yes. Pretty
There's a
wide
lot of
net.
missing folks. A lot of ways you can go with this. So
I kind of figured I guess, challenge myself a little because I'm so nosy that these piss me off.
Yeah.
I can't watch like I love, like, we've covered like unsolved mysteries before. I can only watch a couple of those because I'm like, no, but now you need to tell me where they're at because I need to know the answer.
yeah,
And they can't because that's the nature of the show.
right.
So can't do that.
Wouldn't be on
I need
Unsolved
the ending.
Mysteries if it was they'd call it Solved Mysteries.
Right, exactly. That would be a whole different. I'd
Different
watch
TV
that.
show.
I would watch the
That would-
fuck
that
out
would-
of Solved Mysteries.
You are the demographic for the show Solved Mysteries.
I really am.
Just so you
Make
know,
it.
we're gonna solve the mystery by the end of the
I'm like,
show.
yes. I'm like, no. You see that loose thread? We're cutting it. We're not doing that. Wrap it up. To be a little more serious, I can't imagine much that would be like more painful for a family than your loved one going missing.
Yeah.
Like, to not know has to be like so scary.
Right.
So
right.
terrifying. Like, and I'm just not a person, as I've said, who's satisfied with that kind of thing. Like, I
Sure.
would, God, there's a woman. Have you seen the woman on TikTok who her mother was murdered and they found like where her body was, but it's in like a creek bed.
Okay.
So she taught herself. She took courses on diving, like crime scene diving, and she is collecting her mother's skeleton.
Really?
It is
I've not heard about that.
I'll link it to you. It is
Okay.
so sad, but it's like amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh my God.
Right.
So heavy.
Right.
But it's like that's what people do. And it's like, where is this person?
Right.
Like, And the more people that know that person, the more that feeling of like uncertainty and frustration grows when it's like, because I've honestly, like a bunch of famous people have gone missing.
Right.
There are quite a few cases, and I'm covering one of those today.
Okay.
Today's mysterious subject still raises eyebrows across the globe, going from an acclaimed author to the star of his own unsolved disappearance. This is the story of Ambrose Bierce.
Okay.
Now, Ambrose, which I think is like such a fun name.
It is. Ambrose.
Ambrose was born in a humble log cabin in the, at the time, mostly untamed wilds of Ohio.
Okay.
Because it was like 1842.
Sure,
so
sure.
a lot of it was still like woods.
Yeah.
This humble beginning was the perfect existence for his very puritanical parents.
Of course.
His
Yeah.
parents' like lineage can be traced back to like their family's been Puritans for like a bazillion years.
Okay.
Like they're related to like the main guys.
Okay. Oh, wow. Like OG.
Yeah, OG Puritan. Which I thought Puritan, I don't know a lot about Puritans to be honest with you, like off the top of my head, but like I was like, I thought they were like big prudes, you know?
Yeah.
But they had 13 children.
Well,
So
they probably identify with this idea of like similar to like the Quiverful.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where
Right.
it's like
hella children.
literally have children until you die.
Right. It's dumb. And they did live on a farm. People
Yeah.
who lived on a farm had mad
Oh,
children.
yes.
Because it's just free farm.
Mad babies.
Yeah. But the thing I think is super funny, because like, was this super uncommon? No, it's a high number.
Right.
But it was more uncommon because the women would die.
Yeah.
So she lasted. She was like, ain't no
Wow.
thing. I'll just
Yeah.
keep having kids. But all 13 of them had names that began with the letter A.
Oh, no. That sounds awful.
I have a list. Let me see. So he was number 10.
Okay.
So the list goes Abigail, Amelia, Anne, Addison, Aurelius, Augustus, Almeda, Andrew, Albert, Pickle. Not Pickle. Pickle's a cat.
Sorry, you got to focus in on what we're doing.
I got scared. There was a movement in the hallway. It's a cat. Pickle was not one of the siblings because it doesn't start with A. Andrew, Albert, Ambrose, our pal Ambrose.
Okay.
Arthur, Adelia, and Aurelia.
Okay.
I like how
That's
they
a lot
have
of A names.
Aurelius and Aurelia.
I feel like the girls got very average names.
Yeah,
and the
they
guys
did.
got the real fun
Like
names.
Roman emperors.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
That's
feel
bullshit.
like around kid 7, I would just run out of
Yeah.
A names. and
Adam,
just-
Adam,
yeah, Apple.
Adam.
Android.
Over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Adam 2,
Adam 3. Literally. His parents, who obviously shared a love of doing it because they had so many children, and a love of farming because they had their farm, also shared a love of reading. They were like a very literary family, which is
Okay.
really cool.
Yeah.
The husband and the wife were
Yeah.
both very, very into reading. I don't know how they ever had time to open a book with 13 fucking kids.
Well, you
I
know,
have 2 kids and I like barely read
she
anymore.
had to be pregnant for a while.
Oh, that's true.
Like, there's
She's like, I
pregnancy
can't
times.
go out and like sop the fields. I have
Right.
to lay down with a book.
Yeah.
Actually, I love that. No cable. And their literary inclinations would rub off particularly on Ambrose. Eventually, the family would move to Indiana, which is where Ambrose did the majority of his like growing up.
Okay.
He attended some high school there, but left at about 15 for a pretty badass job opportunity. He was working for an abolitionist newspaper.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I went down like a little rabbit hole because I was like, "What?" So the little newspaper was a local newspaper called the Northern Indianan,
Okay.
and it was very criticized at the time because
Right.
they were like, slavery is bad.
Of course.
And he was working as, because I was like at 15, what, like he's like writing stuff? That doesn't make sense. He was they called it a printer's devil, which was their name for like an apprentice.
Yeah.
So he would help work the printing press. He would mix tubs of ink and like, I'm sure like move all the little letters around.
yeah.
Writers, including Walt Whitman, Mark Twain, and Benjamin Franklin all started as printers' devils. So it was kind of a way to break into the business, which is really
Yeah.
cute. I was wondering, I was like, so why? It was so interesting to me. This was like the most interesting article in the world. I was like, why is it a printer's devil? Like, why do they call it that? That's so weird. So there's a couple different ideas from it. So their hands and their arms and like even their faces would become stained black because
Okay.
they were handling so much ink.
Okay.
So that's one possible explanation for it.
Okay.
One of the like when they would use the type and then they would discard it, the name for one of the boxes was the hell box. So it's like you're
Okay.
hanging around the hell box, you're the printer's devil. And it also could have been racist because some of these boys were like, you know, little white farm boys who could read and didn't want to like play with cows or whatever. They were
Right.
like, actually, I'm going to do this instead. But sometimes they were like young black boys.
Yeah.
Who had been taught to read. So it was sometimes
Could have been racist.
Could have been racist.
As
It was-
with everything at that
Exactly.
time.
I was
It's
like, oh, it's that like
probably
Wikipedia
racist.
thing where it's like I'm in like the etymology thing and it's like, what's the next tab? Oh, possible racism. God
Oh,
damn
great.
it. But it
Not
was,
again.
It was such a thing. I'll show you a little picture from a print shop in
that's
London.
cool.
It's like a little devil. So it's
Yeah.
like a thing that they use in their business.
Interesting.
I just thought that was so cute. You know, falling down a rabbit hole. Not that I
Sure.
ever do that. I'm always on task.
Yeah.
So he was so interested in writing and obviously political from a young age.
Right.
So that's how he sort of like nurtured his love for that. So he had left high school at that point, had been working for the newspaper, and then decided, because obviously this is the early to mid 1800s,
Yeah.
so war is a brewing.
Yes, of course.
So he, like all young boys of the era, was like, all right, I probably got to go do that. So he went to the Kentucky Military Institute for a couple of years. It actually closed because of a fire.
Oh.
So he was like, I guess that's done
That's a sign.
because it's on fire. So
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't go there anymore. And then when the Civil War started, he enlisted. So he was in the 9th Indiana Infantry.
Okay.
So he was present at like the first, so this was the first organized land action of the war, which was the Battle of Philippi.
Okay.
So that was like the first battle. So he was
Okay.
present there. And he actually got like a little like locally famous because he, under fire, like had a very daring, dramatic rescue of another person who was like gravely wounded. He like,
Okay.
you know, pew pew, yeah, no problem, and
Right.
rescued his comrade.
All right. Good for you.
Right. All of this war, all of this fighting, all of this civil war happening would also greatly influence his later writings.
Okay. As I would expect.
As
honestly.
you would
Yeah.
expect. He ended up making it up to first lieutenant,
Wow.
fancy man, from being born in a log cabin to first lieutenant. Like,
Right.
okay, sir.
Yeah.
He was, and this was the thing, is a lot of these people, a lot of these soldiers, just because of the way it was at a time, I mean, he also had left high school. A lot of them were not super educated.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
he could not only read and write, but he had like political opinions.
Ooh,
so
okay.
he had like a lot of like know-how. So it seemed like that really helped him like
Okay.
climb the ranks.
Sure.
And he helped out by like helping the cartographers like make battle maps.
Okay.
So he
That
was
all
very,
tracks.
he was like,
Yeah.
oh, ink, I got this. This is my shit. You
Yeah.
guys don't even know how good I am at ink.
Yeah.
At like near the end of the war, he was like gathering a lot of, I guess, like letters of recommendation from like General Sherman.
Okay.
Endorsing, like, they were like, okay, if he lives through the battle, we're going to make sure that he goes to West Point and like becomes this like professional soldier because he's really fucking good at his job.
Okay.
Unfortunately, in June 1864, he was at the Battle of Kennesaw Mountain, where he would sustain a pretty severe traumatic brain injury.
Okay.
So he was, that whole summer, he was like on furlough because his like head was fucked up.
Right.
He did return to active duty, but it wasn't the same after that. He had trouble because of his injury.
Okay.
And would end up resigning his commission in January 1865 because he was like, I I can't fully be here.
Right.
Because I
right.
have, all this.
Because my brain.
It's traumatically injured.
Yes.
The injury was traumatic to me.
Yeah.
But he was awarded the rank of brevet major, which is like a big deal, before resigning. So
Okay.
obviously he was still doing a good job.
Sure.
And he helped out with like all kinds of different, he was doing the map making. So he was traveling doing that, all the cartography. And he was also inspecting military outposts.
Okay.
So a lot of what he was doing, and I kind of think that must have been like what was so hard on him was like the constant travel.
Yeah. I imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
But he wasn't just like shooting guns for fun. Like he
Right.
was doing all kinds of like technical shit.
Right.
So he resigned and ended up in San Francisco,
Okay.
where he joined up with lots of local newspapers.
Okay.
So he did all kinds of things, including crime reporting.
Wow.
Oh my God. So I like to think if he were alive today, he would have a banging podcast.
Yeah.
We'd have him
probably.
on.
Yeah.
Next on.
I mean, hopefully.
Ambrose Bierce.
Maybe.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
He'd probably be too famous for us, honestly. Let's be real.
That's true.
Let's be real.
He's like, ew, who
Yeah.
are you? So he still traveled for his job here and there as this like big journalist. He was doing like a bunch of different things. He tried to manage like a New York mining company that failed, and then he went back to San Francisco and kept being a journalist. And then he would
Nice.
edit several magazines. He was the editor for a magazine called The Wasp.
Okay.
And in all of these, he would become one of the most prominent and influential like West Coast journalists.
Very nice.
He was doing a lot of like different like opinion columns. He
Sure.
would talk often, a lot of his like main points, because like of course when you start you got to talk about what they want to talk about, and
Yeah.
then when you get famous you could talk about what you want to talk about.
Right.
And what he wanted to talk about was how he hated everything. He
Yeah.
was just kind of like, I don't know if he was necessarily like a nihilist, but he was fairly apolitical. He wasn't interested in like the intricacies of politics. He wasn't interested in like all of these rich men. Like,
Yeah.
and a lot of his values were somewhat puritanical, but not like prudish.
Yeah.
He just was like, let's cut to the brass tacks. Like he saw through like what everybody was doing. I
Sure.
guess.
Yeah.
So he was pretty valued as this like sort of aggressive guy.
Yeah.
And in fact, I thought that you would find this really interesting. I found this very confusing, but you will find this really interesting. So there was this whole thing that he was involved with that made him even more famous, which was this refinancing bill for like a railroad. So the Central Pacific and Union Pacific railroad companies
Okay.
had been getting a bunch of like big low interest loans from the government to build the first transcontinental railroad. So
Okay.
like that show you were watching.
Right.
The executive, Collis P. Huntington, had, it says, persuaded a friendly member of Congress
Okay.
to be like, he's like, hey, this shit costs a lot of money. I think that we actually shouldn't have to repay the loans.
Okay.
And the Congress member was like, totally, I agree. I love you.
Okay.
Thanks for the money I'm sure you gave me
Right.
to do this.
Right.
Persuaded a friendly member my ass.
Yeah.
Like,
Thanks for the
please.
donation.
Right.
Yeah.
So William Randolph Hearst, the like big author, he knew Ambrose Bierce, our guy, because he was working for one of his like magazines.
Okay.
So he saw this like happening and the government was like, this is bullshit. He's like, who's
Right.
going to be able to have enough pull to affect this? He's
Yeah.
like, my grumpy old pal Ambrose. So he dispatched him to Washington, D.C. and was like, what you're going to do is because the sneaky executives were trying to do what they do now, which is sneak shit through Congress without anybody noticing.
Right.
Because if the public found out about it, they'd be like, we actually do think you have to repay the loan.
Sure.
But they were like, we don't want to. We want to
Okay.
keep that money.
Okay.
So they were trying to sneak it through. So he went there to be like, you're not sneaking shit.
Nice.
I got a megaphone. He didn't have a megaphone.
Very cool.
But I'm
Very
sure
cool.
he talked very loud. So he like went to Congress to pretty much be as loud as possible. Like, hey,
Nice.
does everybody see what these assholes are doing?
Yeah.
Huntington, the bigwig, actually, there was like a big confrontation on the steps of the Capitol. How poetic is this? And was like, hey, I want you to go away. Stop being loud. Hey, stop it. I'm
Yeah.
doing crimes. You
Yeah.
stop that.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I will not. And he's like, well, I'll pay you. I'm a very rich man. How much to make you go away? And he said, my price is $130 million. If, when you are ready to pay, I happen to be out of town, you may hand it over to my friend, the Treasurer of the United States.
Oh.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Because that was the amount they were supposed to repay.
Okay.
So, like, how cute is that?
That's
He's
funny.
like, that's my price,
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah. That's funny.
It made such a stir because obviously he's this like poetic author. So he's like just like slamming off lines.
Yeah.
This created such public outcry that the bill was defeated.
Yeah.
Which is
Nice.
pretty cool.
Nice.
Which
Very
is
good
pretty
job,
cool.
Ambrose.
So he was getting fairly popular. He was better known during his lifetime as a journalist, but I think we would know him now more as a novelist.
Okay.
Which is just, I think, the lasting quality of novels as compared to like articles.
Yeah.
You know, easier
Yeah.
to find.
Yeah.
So he wrote his most famous short story is called An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge.
I know that.
Yes, you do.
Okay,
Yep.
I do know that.
So
I don't
often
know it
referenced.
because of the writing,
Right.
but we watched the film. It was
Yes.
like one of the first films that we watched in the film class I took.
I was
Like,
going to
intro
say
film
all
class I
over
took.
film class.
Yes, I do know that. And there's
Yes.
a video game based on that. Did
Yes,
you know
there
that?
is.
Like a
There's,
little
yep.
pixel art kind of game.
It's
Yeah.
one of those like he's compared to Edgar Allan Poe a lot and his writing style.
Okay.
So
okay.
he did a lot of he didn't do as much horror as he did like sort of aspects of horror. There are aspects of horror, aspects of science fiction,
Yeah.
aspects of like certain things
It's
like
almost
that.
like psychological.
Yes.
I don't even want to say thrillers, but just like
Yeah.
a psychological shift.
There was always something.
Yeah.
Like in An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, 200-year-old spoiler.
Yeah,
it's,
right.
you know, a soldier from the Civil War who I think had been like a Confederate and was going to be hanged for his crimes at Owl Creek Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like a time skip story where like you think that he escapes. You watch him like, I think the rope breaks and he goes in the river.
Yeah, he like
and then
runs towards his home and there's all this like
all this stuff that happens, and then at
Yeah.
the end of the work you find out that he was just imagining it and he gets hanged and he dies.
it's like the last visions he has
Yes.
as he's falling through the air.
Yes, but as you're
or
watching
as he's
it
being hanged.
as he's being hanged,
Yeah,
right? Because he
yeah.
feels like the wind on his face and is like, oh, actually,
Yeah,
that was
that's
it.
like the last.
It was
Yeah, it's like the
only
last.
just a dream.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
It's interesting though,
And that's
especially
like
for the
a
time.
psychological thriller.
Right,
But it
right.
also, like, he was a soldier, so his time in the war, like,
Mm-hmm.
it led a lot of realism to his stories. But that kind of, like, I feel some of you who are listening are like, okay, like, that's not that crazy. For the time, it was crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
That was crazy.
Definitely.
People thought he was a nut.
Yes. Yeah.
But that's like the most famous. So he did a lot of like collections of short stories,
Okay.
different short stories, because that one's it's not terribly long, and you can actually read it for
No.
free online. I
The
believe.
film is like maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not, it's very short.
And that's another reason
Yeah.
that he was compared to Edgar Allan Poe is like a lot of like short stories. But that's the way you made
yeah.
money back in
Right, right. It was all about volume.
quantity over quality.
Yeah. I mean, just.
But those are good.
Yes, yes.
So he was this like super famous author. Kurt Vonnegut loved his work and like would continue to cite him as like a source of inspiration. So he's
Okay.
this big ass dude.
Nice.
So his personality. So I've said a little bit. I've called him like, you know, this grumpy guy. He just kind of was known as this sort of prickly individual.
Yeah.
He was just kind of a grouch. And I think part of that is that he was very political in a time where it was not popular to be an abolitionist.
Yeah.
He was like a big abolitionist, but he was more, I don't know, like he wasn't a nihilist, but he had that sort of point of view,
Yeah.
I guess, where it was less about like the passion for like, well, I just want everyone to be able to live free. And it was more like, hey, this is stupid. Let's not do this.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
He was kind of like a grouchy guy. Just a little grouchy. He was also very, very unpopular for the time, an avowed agnostic. and would
Okay.
talk all the time about how Christianity in particular was poisonous,
Okay.
which, as you can imagine, did not make him a super popular guy,
Sure.
but did gain him like a niche following.
Right. Right.
This poor guy. So some of his irritability, again, because of the time period, who can really be sure? And they didn't know. He got more grouchy after that pesky old traumatic brain injury from earlier.
Right.
So I don't know if like, because that can like change your personality.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it could be like that it hurt him and that made him grouchy, or, you know, who knows?
Right.
Who's to say? But
Sure.
that's where like some of it came from. It also would give him, from time to time, he would faint.
Okay.
And then sometimes his irritability would say to get like worse and worse and worse. Because he did end up having a wife and 3 children. Honestly, they're not a major part of his story.
Oh, of course not.
He was kind of wheeling and dealing.
Right, right.
But in his personal life, he did have friends and acquaintances, but everyone was like, the guy's kind of a dick. He's like kind of a grouchy dick.
Yes.
Which-
how I want to be remembered.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, I wish we knew what month he was born in. Maybe he was a Gemini.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Move it along, ma'am. Move it along.
No, this is my topic. You move it along. And this would kind of play into his like grouchy attitude, would kind of play into the mystery around his disappearance.
Okay.
Which is where we're going now.
Okay.
So in 1913, in the fall of 1913, Ambrose Bierce was 71.
Okay.
He had like a pretty, not super lucrative necessarily, somewhat, but he wasn't like a super wealthy guy. He had a
Yeah.
big, nice house.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like the American Horror Story season 1 house.
Okay.
Like, so nice, but not like crazy.
Yeah. Murder House is what you're talking about.
Yes, Murder House. That's right.
Murder House. It's literally called Murder House.
because they've used it for other
Yeah.
movies. It was in an episode of Buffy.
Yeah.
When I watched Murder House, I was like, wait, this is from Buffy.
Yeah.
Buffy. So he was 71. His children were all grown up. I don't even know if any of them survived to adulthood. I
Okay.
think 1 or 2 of them did.
Great,
but
of course.
Yeah, I know.
Love that.
But he had traveled all around, had settled in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And when he turned 71, he was like, you know what? I kind of feel a little bit nostalgic for the past, and I'm going to go and tour some of the old Civil War battlefields where I fought.
Okay.
Okay, a little old man trip.
Sure.
This was in like October. So by December, there were confirmed reports of him passing through certain southern states such as Texas and Louisiana.
Okay.
They said that he'd been seen in El Paso. So the El Paso is pretty close to the Mexican border.
Okay.
So during that time, Mexico, so this is 1913. So during this time, Mexico is in full revolutionary swing.
Okay.
And there's a character that hopefully at least you'll hear the name and be like, I know that guy. This is Pancho Villa.
Okay.
He was this big revolutionary.
Yes.
So if you even went around that area, it would be unavoidable to hear all about. And lots of people had different opinions.
Right.
And he was this like polarizing character, Pancho Villa. And a lot of people from around that area would kind of be like, hey, this guy has the right idea. Let's go sign up with Pancho Villa.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, why did he go to El Paso?
Okay.
Where are you going?
Yeah.
You weren't in El Paso. Why are you there?
Old man trip.
So allegedly, he ended up joining Pancho Villa's army as, quote, an observer.
Okay.
And there are writings that have emerged that are alleged to be from him that are like the description of the battle.
Okay.
That's more this is like still at the point where people believe that part happened.
Okay. Okay.
So he allegedly accompanied Pancho Villa's army as far as the city of Chihuahua.
Okay.
The last known communication he has is a letter that he wrote to a lady friend. And the closing statement of this letter is, quote, as to me, I leave here tomorrow for an unknown destination.
Okay.
After that, he
It's very ominous.
vanished without a trace.
Okay.
So there are several, as of missing people, Elvis,
Right.
and the aliens. There are several reports all over the place. I saw him here, I saw him there, but nothing verified. ever again.
Really? Okay.
In one of his like final confirmed letters before his one to his lady friend, like
Yeah.
a different letter,
Yeah.
but around that time, one of the quotes he did was, quote, "Goodbye. If you hear of my being stood up against a Mexican stone wall and shot to rags, please know that I think it is a pretty good way to depart this life. It beats old age, disease, or falling down the cellar stairs. To be a gringo in Mexico, that is euthanasia." Girl, what?
Wow.
So, but this was the
Okay.
thing is like, and you would think like, okay, so he's gonna go and like do that,
Right.
You know, whatever,
Right.
But he was this like sardonic kind of guy. He
Yeah.
often said things that were people were like, oh my god, like I feel like I do that.
Yeah.
like I'm in a conversation, like I'm just gonna drive off a bridge, and people are like, what? It's
Yeah,
like,
right.
No, girl, it's just my humor. I'm just being a silly
No,
sausage,
same,
but it's a bad
same.
habit.
Yeah.
I gotta not do that.
Yeah.
but like he was that kind of guy,
Right.
So this didn't raise the alarm then, but then after they couldn't find him, they were like, was he actually trying to tell
Was
me
this
something?
just a joke or?
Right.
Yeah.
They ended up finding, like, so when they would talk to afterwards, when they eventually did do a search, which again was not something that they did right away. They weren't super concerned
Yeah.
until it had already been like a couple of years.
Yeah.
Then they were like, oh, actually, we don't know where he's at. They went and talked to some of the soldiers that he had like hung out with, Pancho Villa's soldiers, and all of them gave wildly different accounts.
Oh, cool.
Like, it almost seemed like purposeful, but I don't know.
Interesting.
Right. Like, because it was way different. Oh, we saw him and he fought with us.
Yeah.
Oh, we were with him and then somebody shot him and he died. Oh, he ended up getting taken to jail in one of these towns and they killed him.
Sure.
They hung him. They shot him. They did the, who knows? It's all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah.
So his last confirmed sighting was in that city of Chihuahua. And then after that, they have no idea where he went.
Wow.
So he continues to be, look at his like grouchy little face. I love this picture. Looks like a mad teddy bear.
Yeah, that's how I imagine him.
He's like so cute. He looks a little like Mark Twain-y, but like
Yes.
evil Mark Twain. Like Mark Twain's Wario.
Yeah, the evil twin.
Right.
Uh-huh.
He has been referenced by well-known authors such as Jack Finney, Jack London, William Randolph Hearst, Ray Bradbury. He's even been fictionalized in like people would make him like as a character in
Yeah.
their books, which is pretty cute. One of his most lasting legacies is some of his like more science fiction-y short stories were said to have heavily influenced the highly problematic author H.P. Lovecraft. So perhaps without Ambrose Bierce, there would be no Cthulhu.
Wow.
Which would be a shame.
Crazy.
That would be a shame.
Yeah.
So he continues to be influential to this day on modern horror and sci-fi things.
Wow.
But yeah, where is he? I don't know. He gone.
What an interesting fellow.
Yee.
Yeah. Good job.
Thanks.
So there are many things I know about Rachel.
Ooh.
Many, many things I know about Rachel.
Ooh. All complimentary, I'm sure.
Amongst those is your love of mysteries. I think you would
Love
agree.
a mystery.
So I thought I would bring a bit of a doozy with me today.
Ooh.
I'm not going to be talking about just one
Ooh.
missing person. Instead, I'm going to be covering 5.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
So on today's episode, I want to talk about an area called Vermont's Bennington Triangle.
Ooh.
Have you heard of this before?
It sounds really familiar.
Okay, so this idea of like geographic
Yeah.
triangles, also known as paranormal triangles, vile vortices,
like the Bermuda Triangle.
devil's graveyards, where mysterious things sort of happen between like three fixed geographic points. This is not like a new phenomenon.
No.
Like you said,
It's a silly one.
the most well known is like
The Bermuda Triangle.
I think that's the one that pops to everybody's head is like,
Yeah.
Bermuda Triangle. It's also become this very big like TV trope and in movies. And,
you go in, you
Yes.
never come out.
Yes.
Except people do all the time.
yeah.
It's a really common shipping port with
Yeah.
like 3 different ocean climates. So there's lots of storms.
yeah.
Mystery solved.
Yeah. yeah. Yeah.
I'm an ooky spooky girl.
There's also like an X-Files. I was like, what did I
Yeah.
just see? There's an X-Files episode that's sort of Bermuda Triangle adjacent.
Yeah.
You know? So these are not new, right?
Right.
But did you know that there's like a handful of them in the world?
Oh my God.
Including the Bass Strait Triangle, which is in the waters that split the states of Victoria and Tasmania in Southeast Australia. This mostly involves ship transport sort of tragedies or mysterious disappearances of boats and things, that kind of stuff.
Sea monster.
The Bridgewater Triangle, that's an approximately 200 square mile area in southeastern Massachusetts that has a ton of alleged activity, including UFOs, poltergeists, Bigfoot-like sightings,
Whoa.
giant snakes, thunderbirds, and cults.
Road trip.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
right.
go.
The Broadhaven Triangle / Welsh Triangle / Dyfed Triangle.
Welsh.
It's an area in Wales with over 450 reported UFO sightings in 1977 alone.
Whoa.
There was like this time where they had all these UFO sightings.
I'm all about that.
And the Devil's Sea / the Devil's Triangle / Formosa Triangle / Pacific
Slash.
Bermuda Triangle is what this is. It's the area south of Tokyo that mostly, again, centers on like boat or
Yeah.
air travel related
Again, it's a sea monster.
disappearances in movies. In the air?
Yeah, it can fly.
An air sea monster?
Yeah.
A sea air monster?
He's not confined by your ideas.
Yes. And of course, the one that I'm going to be talking about today, the Bennington Triangle.
Yeah.
Now, in this case, there is not necessarily specific points
Okay.
that encompass the area, but it's basically centered on the Glastonbury Mountain and the surrounding area of Bennington, Woodford, Shaftesbury, and Somerset
Okay.
in Vermont.
Okay.
In the early 19th century, Glastonbury and Somerset were big, like thriving log towns, but they've sort of since they're essentially ghost towns now.
Right. Okay.
Basically.
Cool.
And it happened like a lot even in like the
Spooky.
20, I mean,
Oh, wow.
like 1935, I think
want to
somewhere
go
in
to
there. The town like completely disincorporated them, or the state did, disincorporated this sort of area.
I want to go there.
The term Bennington Triangle was coined by author Joseph A. Citro and popularized in 2 of his books.
Okay.
But it's used to describe primarily 5 strange disappearances that happened between 1945 and 1950.
Ooh.
So let's get into it.
Let's do it. Oh my God.
So the first disappearance was that of 74-year-old Mitty Rivers in 1945. He had been hunting in the Bickford Hollow, and was described as a skilled outdoorsman and well acquainted with the area that he was in.
Okay.
Okay. At the time, from what I saw, he was like leading a hunting party of people up there. So they had established this campsite. They had been out hunting. At approximately, he was with 4 other people on this trip. At approximately 4 p.m. on November 9th, 1945, the party witnessed Rivers walking the opposite direction of camp. At the time, they were not like really concerned about this because, again, he's like the
Outdoor
guy.
guy. He's going to go climb a tree.
He's the one who knows where he's going.
Yeah.
But when nightfall came and he hadn't returned to camp, they were kind of like, okay, maybe we should be kind of worried.
Oh.
So they sent on a search party. This eventually expanded into a 300-person search along with U.S. Army soldiers that were sent out to aid.
Oh my
and this was
gosh.
like 300 locals. So like the people
Yeah.
came down from the towns to just like comb the woods.
That's nice.
After 8 days of searching through the wilderness, the only thing anyone found was a single gun casing that matched what Rivers typically used.
Oh.
They never found a body. There was no evidence of like an animal attack or
Right.
like scattered remains
Yeah.
from that. And frankly, there wasn't really anything to say he was ever even in the area.
Right.
Like, just kind of gone. Most folks figured that an experienced outdoorsman like Rivers would, he could survive outside for a
Right.
few days. He'd probably come back. Like, if he was lost or something, like, he'd probably be back in a couple of days.
Yeah.
But would generally be okay
Right.
to survive on his own. But unfortunately, he never did.
Whoa.
The only other evidence recovered was a handkerchief that belonged to Rivers that was discovered the following spring.
Oh my
after the
God.
thaw. But outside of that, he was never seen or heard from again.
That's weird.
Yeah. That's the first one. Second one, and probably the most widely known of all 5 of these, is that of 18-year-old Paula Jean Walden. Mm-hmm. And at the time, she was a sophomore at Bennington College. On the afternoon of December 1st, 1946, so just like a year later, Weldon finished up her shift in the dining hall and decided she wanted to go for a little hike.
Yeah.
So she leaves campus with her hiking clothes, which included this like bright red jacket.
Okay. Smart.
Bright red jacket. I would assume that's like gonna be very easily noticed by people. You're gonna remember the person.
For hunters and stuff.
Well, yes, of course. So she hitches a ride to the start of the Long Trail. And at some point, she stops at a store in Bennington to get directions. And there was also this like elderly couple that had followed her down the trail. They were like about 100 yards back from her.
Okay.
But they were like, could see her and were following her down the trail for a while. But when Walden didn't make it to her classes the following day, her roommate got worried, notified the authorities, who launched this huge, expansive, like, search effort. This included approximately 1,000 people and the help of FBI, helicopters, the whole 9 yards. They even posted a $5,000 reward for information leading to her return, but she was also never seen again.
Wow.
And once again, as in Rivers' case, there was no trace of her, including this bright red jacket that she was wearing.
Which,
Just kind of, because you would, a lot of these think, oh, they got lost in the woods. That's kind of, but like there would be something probably.
Yes. That's crazy.
Yeah, that one I would say look into a little bit more because there is like a lot of stuff that went into that search, but they like searched the fuck out of it and
couldn't find nothing.
Nothing.
Weird.
Now, exactly 3 years to the day after Walden's disappearance, 68-year-old James Tedford went missing.
Oh.
Now, Tedford was a World War I vet who was living at the Vermont Soldiers' Home in Bennington. Tedford was visiting some relatives in St. Albans, and the family reported that they had taken him to the bus station, witnessed him getting onto the bus, so they knew he was on the bus. The final sighting was by an acquaintance who had run into Tedford at the bus depot in Burlington. And the two had a short conversation before parting ways, with Tedford being, again, witnessed getting on the bus that was heading to Bennington around 6:15 p.m. on December 1st, 1949.
Okay.
He was one of 14 passengers on the bus at the penultimate stop.
Okay.
But by the time the bus arrived in Bennington, he had apparently vanished.
What?
Yeah.
Where the hell did he go?
None of the passengers remember seeing him get off anywhere. And his luggage was still in the now empty seat. But it would take an entire week before Tedford was reported missing. And it's unclear if it was like by an individual or by the vet's home was like, he find,
Yeah.
Which to me, I'm like, he didn't come back for a week. And you guys are like, well, I guess we should report him missing probably.
Yeah, assholes.
Like, he's 68 years old, probably with like PTSD.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean?
You're just like letting him out.
Right.
Jeez.
Yeah.
With nothing?
Yeah.
Poor guy.
In the following investigations, the bus driver claimed that a person matching Tedford's description may have gotten off the bus in Brandon.
Okay.
But he wasn't totally sure.
Right.
The same night, Brandon police reported responding to a call about a man matching Tedford's description who had been, quote unquote, acting queerly.
Okay.
But these have never really been confirmed. And it was unclear if this man was Tedford
Right.
or if he wasn't. There is
how
also
sad.
something to be said about the fact that it took a week for
Right.
him to be reported missing
Right.
and the time that lapsed between the disappearance
be
and when he was
anywhere.
reported. Yeah, well,
Oh,
and
that's
people's
crazy.
memories, like they're
Right.
not thinking anything is wrong
Yeah.
necessarily.
Yeah.
So why would you remember who was on the bus on a
Right.
trip that you took a week earlier?
Right.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
Yeah. No other trace of him has ever been found.
Oh my God. What?
The next disappearance would happen about a year later when 8-year-old Paul Jepson went missing. Jepson had been with his mom attending to some farm chores when the two went to the Bennington town dump where they kept some pigs.
Okay.
I know. I was like, it said they had like a pack of pigs at the
Oh.
dump.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just where they had the land to keep something
I guess.
like that. I don't know.
Ew.
While she went to deal with the animals, Jepson stayed behind in the truck playing. She was like, I'm just going to do this. About an hour later at 4 p.m., his mother returned to find the boy missing. She immediately notified authorities who began searching the dump and the surrounding woods, even using bloodhounds to track his scent down the road where it abruptly ended at an intersection. Now, this one had a few theories.
Okay.
Jepson's father said that he might have been taken by somebody in a car, or he had gotten out of the truck and was accidentally hit by somebody
Right.
else in a car who then like took his body to conceal in a panic.
Yeah.
You know, he's also said that the day he disappeared, Jepson had been wearing like browns and tans, like colors.
So he might be hard to see.
Yeah, he's like, I think, because this was in the fall.
Yeah.
So he's like, police might have possibly overlooked his body in the woods because he blended in with the fall leaves that were down. Whatever might have happened, Jepson was another disappearance left unsolved.
God.
Yeah.
Oh
How you
my
doing over
God.
there? All of this
pissed.
unsolved.
This is
It's your favorite
annoying.
thing. You chose this topic.
I know.
Okay, so the next happened on October 28th, 1950, just 16 days after Jepson's disappearance.
Wow.
53-year-old Frida Langer had been hiking in the woods with her husband Max and cousin Herbert Elsner. Langer was also described as a skilled hiker.
Okay.
And the group had taken off from their family cabin around 1 p.m. So to me, that implies if it's a family cabin, they've been up there before.
Right. Familiarity with the area.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
And she's a skilled hiker. She's not just like, going to wander
Yeah.
into some stupid area.
Right. They hadn't made it very far when Langer slipped down an embankment and fell into a stream, which then like soaked her clothes and her shoes and everything. She told her cousin that she was going to take a shortcut back to the cabin, change clothes, and then meet up with them a little bit further up on the trail.
Yeah.
But she never caught up. They returned to the cabin to see if she was there. Well, she was not, unfortunately. And so they alerted authorities, who immediately began searching the area along with approximately 300 other people. Again, the search continued for days, but she was never found and the search was called off. Again, theories sprang forward, the main one being that her husband had said she suffered from a seizure disorder. And that she may have had a seizure after spending the extended time in like cold overnight temperatures that would have like brought on a seizure. And this in turn might have made her disoriented, which might have caused her to become lost.
Yep.
Unfortunately. However, when spring rolled around in May 1951, a fisherman discovered Langer's body approximately 3.5 miles south of her family's cabin.
Oh, wow.
They were unable to determine a cause of death because her body had been exposed to the elements for so
Right.
long that it was just like in
my
horrid
God.
shape.
Right.
And their main theory is that she likely had fallen down a second embankment into a deep pond where she drowned, and then her body with the spring thaw was like
Right.
flushed out of the pond.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And I'll also say she is the only person on this list
That
who
they've
ever
found
been
any
found.
trace of.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, poor thing.
I know. So with 5 disappearances in just as many years, and only one of those resulting in someone being found,
Right.
there was certainly something strange happening in the Bennington area. Now, I will say there are not any obvious ties between any of these cases.
No, not at all.
Other than where they sort of take place.
Yeah.
They are in the area. This type of thing, I think, is primed to be the subject of like paranormal
Right.
theories or
Right.
these sort of more off the wall,
Yeah.
spooky yuki kind of theories.
Yeah.
There are some theories out there that involve aliens and ghosts.
What?
But I also think that is in part thanks to other strange happenings in the area.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's already like this is the ghost of the woods, it's like well,
Right.
the ghost of the woods probably did it.
Yeah. So, for example, the area has the tale of its own cryptid. Called the Bennington Monster.
Oh,
Have you heard of that?
yes.
So it's been described as 8 foot tall with hair and 2 large eyes that
Nice.
attacked people in the 1800s.
Yep.
It's one of the more vague descriptions.
Yeah.
They're just like, there's this monster. It's big and hairy.
And hair and eyes.
Yes.
What else do you want? Shut up. It's a monster. Go to bed.
This is from Obscure Vermont. Quote, another interesting theory suggests that the Bennington Monster is actually the horrifying transformation of the Glastonbury wild man. After he was chased out of the region, he took back to the woods and dwelled, becoming cannibalistic, deformed, and insane, wearing animal furs and attacking lone stagecoaches coming over the mountains.
Yum, delicious stagecoach.
Yeah, so it's like the evolution of
They're very strange. Very quick evolution.
the Glastonbury wild man is like evolved Pikachu and he becomes
Yeah.
the Bennington Monster.
yeah, you know.
Yeah. So
Sure.
having that kind of folktale like in
It's
the
like, well,
area.
surely he's eaten these folks.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely makes it easy to be like, yeah, but why would so many disappearances happen in such a short amount of time?
'Cause
All
it's
in
a
the
wooded
same
area.
I know. I know.
Like,
Yeah.
it just seems like
Yeah.
it's a wooden day. Like, I understand, like, the fact that there's no trace of these people is, like, pretty weird.
That's
Like,
weird.
that's weird, but it's also not impossible, especially because
Right.
of the time period.
Yeah.
You know, and if people hike and they find stuff all the time. I have
know.
friends who hike and they're like, look what I found in the woods. And I'm like, what if that belonged to a murder victim? Like, you have no idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like evident. There's only a small window where you can really pursue evidence.
Right.
Because it's
Yeah.
like stuff could have gotten moved around.
Well,
Stuff
especially
coulda-
when most of the time you're talking about things that are happening towards the last quarter of the year.
Right.
And you're going into winter. Searching in the winter becomes impossible. And anytime
Impossible.
anything shows up after the spring thaw, it's too damaged to
Yeah,
like,
and moved around.
Right.
And yeah.
you're going to lose your scene in the winter, basically, in the
Yup.
woods.
It's a bad
Yeah.
scene. You
I'll
do
also
not want to
say,
go
too,
missing in the woods.
Along with the like alien abduction kind of theories, which of course they have them. Of course they have them.
Right,
So
right.
of course they have them everywhere, but of
course.
course they have them here. There's also theories that talk about this particular area being a, shall we say, doorway to another
it's a
dimension.
portal.
Yeah, it's like a portal
Love it.
to another alternate universe type
I'll
of.
go back to Buffy. It's a hellmouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of. Yeah. So maybe they like unknowingly.
Oh, yeah.
Walk through. It's very Twin Peaks.
I
like,
hate it when that happens.
They unknowingly walked into a portal that put them in a different timeline accidentally.
Or like SpongeBob with the perfume department.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah.
Hate it when I have to go through there.
So there's also that.
yeah, of course.
Personally, I'm with you. I think most of these, I would say most of these just come down to being in the wilderness
Yeah.
and being unfamiliar.
Right.
And, when you get lost, things happened. We talked about this with the two girls who got lost, and the camera was the only thing that they found
yes.
in like Paraguay or wherever they were, Ecuador
Yeah,
or
Peru, I think.
Peru.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about.
But just like how quickly things can sort of unravel.
devolve, like an injury and then being somewhere you're not familiar with and you're lost and, and you're scared. Like that can cause you to act strangely really quickly.
Yeah. And like, especially in like Langer's case, like she had a predisposition to becoming disoriented. So no matter how well you know the area.
And the older gentleman as well. I feel like that one's like probably the least suspicious.
Especially in the dark.
Right.
Like,
and I mean, I hate the one about the little boy. Girl, I know it's a different time period. Don't leave your children in the car by themselves. Because like, you don't know what happened because you weren't there. Like, I feel like it's a dump. So maybe he was like, he's a little boy. So he was like, what fun to climb in the dump. And he fell down. That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
I will say too, like in Tedford's case, who was the gentleman who disappeared from the bus.
The older gentleman?
The older gentleman.
Yes.
They talk about how he had become a little despondent and he might have been suffering a bit of a mental health crisis.
Right.
But also, the fact that it was a week later and it's not like the bus driver was like, well, it could have been this guy.
Right. Poor management, I feel, of the situation.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like, how are you going to find him now? But I feel like, especially because they had reports of him in the town acting strangely. Didn't you say people were like, maybe he was acting weird? I'm like, I bet.
They said he was acting queerly.
He's like, hey.
Bonjour.
They're like, will you have a beer, sir? He's like, no, a martini. They're like, freak.
Oh, no.
I'll have an appletini.
Yeah. Yeah. Call the authorities.
It's like,
call the cops. Call the cops.
Help.
Yeah.
A lot of these sound like mental health crises to me.
Yeah. So anyway, so that is the Bennington Triangle.
Spooky. No, just kidding. It's aliens. Aliens.
No, it's Portal.
Oh, yeah, Portal. It's a
Portal.
Where's GLaDOS? That's ooky spooky.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust.
All right, folks, that has been our episode this week.
Yeah.
Missing persons.
Like, where are they? Where are they at, though?
Okay.
Where are they at?
Well, do you have any final thoughts before we finish up?
I just don't think it's that like hairy creature.
Oh, the Bennington monster?
I think he's innocent. He was
What
framed.
if it's the chupacabra? Or the Bigfoot? I mean, Bigfoot.
Big feet?
Not the Bigfoot.
The Bigfooted?
Bigfoot, just the one Bigfoot.
I have pretty big feet.
I do too, dude. I have bigger feet than you.
I don't think so.
I do.
What?
I do. What size
Let's
do you wear?
measure your tootsies. Like 10 and a half.
I wear a size 11.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a lot of body to keep up, right?
Yes, queen.
I identify with Peggy Hill. And her big ass feet.
I love King.
All right, on that note, our sound and editing is by Tiff Fulman. Our music is by Jason Zashevsky, the Enigma.
Woo.
This has been the Bad Taste Crime Podcast. We will see you in 2 weeks.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
It was as if a wave of evil washed over this town.